Good evening and welcome back to the third game in the grand finals of the Coronation Cup between Splay Buzzer and Food Please. My name is Peter Host and I'm excited to cast this game and bring this excellent series to you. Okay, so let's see what's happening here. We're on the home map of Food Please because Splay Buzzer just equalized the series 1-1. And no one is surprised that Food Please choose Nomad as his home map, because that's what he likes to play on, and he also has a lot of experience on this map, so in theory he could be the favored. However, Splay Buzzer also recently got a lot of experience on Nomad, especially because he knew that he had to prepare for his opponents. And there were a lot of players in the tournament who had Nomad as their home map pick. So it's no surprise that Splay Buzzer also prepared a little bit and also got a little bit better at this map. So on Nomad, of course, you don't start with a town center. Instead, you start with only 3 villages, no matter the civilization you have. And you have to first find a spot for your town center and then continue from there. What newer players usually do is they search around for the perfect spot, because you think like, okay, I want to have all the resources within my reach. However, it's just better to get the town center up earlier, because then you can already produce villages, and even if your resources are not perfect, it's better to already have some resources than to have no villages in the early stages of the game. We can look at civilizations here. So Food Please having the Mongols, and the Mongols actually, I think, very strong civilization in general, and also on Nomad I think they're pretty strong because they can utilize their hunting bonuses, and oftentimes, even though Nomad is known for the crazy games, oftentimes it really also goes to the late game, and there the Mongols are also very good. On the other hand, Splay Buzzer also getting a good civilization. Here is the Mayans. And if you look at the population, Splay Buzzer is 1 villager ahead, because the Mayans, if we go to the point of view of Splay Buzzer, the Mayans actually start with an extra villager, but you only get that once your town center's up. So it used to be a different way. So in the early days of Age of Empires, for instance, if you had the Chinese on Nomad, you already had 5 villagers, and therefore a huge advantage. So you could just directly go for will fighting and laming and all that good stuff. So the other thing in Nomad is that you can put down a dock right at the start with one of the villages, and you want to put it right next to some shorefish to collect from those, and I think both players have done this successfully. So you see that these players are just getting also the basics down, the build orders down. They know what they have to go for, except when they get surprised by being Huns and still build a dock, because then you cannot build a town center anymore, so you need to be careful. But other than that, good execution from both players. And we can also talk a little bit about the positions of the town centers. So both of them, of course, putting it directly next to a woodline, which is very important so that you can directly produce more fishing ships from the dock you just created. So for Food Please, he has a nice woodline. However, one negative aspect about his position is that the gold is kind of far away. So this is the closest gold maybe, but it's more in favor of Splay Buzzer, and this gold over here is rather far away. He does, however, have a stone, and that's all he really needs, because usually Food Please goes for towers on any map. Now this could be interesting. Okay, Splay Buzzer trying to block the boar, and the boar has been blocked! What a move! What a move! And now Food Please, yeah, he tries to do the same, but I'm not sure if he will be able to do that. No, I don't think so. And Splay Buzzer blocking the boar, which was already following the villager of Food Please. And once you get out of line of sight of the boar will just stop. And that way, Splay Buzzer was able to get in the boar instead of Food Please. What a play! And now he also knows where his opponent is, and so he can start with the laming. And you know, laming is always C nowadays. It's just endless laming, walling into more walling, and now the laming is trying to be countered with counter walls over here. But it takes a lot of attention and micro, and Splay Buzzer needs to be careful here. Both players obviously already having loom due to the idle time you get with your town center, so that's typically players don't forget that. So yeah, you can fight with your bills. And one thing that is also particular to Nomad is that there are no wolves on the map. But look at this Will fighting over here. Oh, Food Please might lose a villager here. No, he is lucky this woman gets out of there. But now it's 3 against 2 now. Now it's 2 against 2, and now Splay Buzzer might lose one. But let's see what this villager is doing. Okay, I think he micros it away, so no losses so far. And also no real difference in idle time, I would say. Maybe a little bit more for Splay Buzzer there, but if you look at the total villager number, and now this can be dicey. I think both players will lose a villager. Yes, 1 down for Food Please, 1 down for Splay Buzzer, and Splay Buzzer could pick another one if he clicks it and if he looks for it. Oh, but in the process he might also lose a villager. Oh, and he definitely will lose this villager now. No, I think she can get away. No, doink. Oh, Splay Buzzer, and doesn't even get this villager in return until now, at least. Maybe with 1 or 2 more hits. The pathing just doesn't work out there for Splay Buzzer, and now he needs to be careful. Losing another villager. What is Splay Buzzer doing? That's a lapse in concentration. He won the last game, and then now he's like, okay, I'm just gonna win all the games from here on out. He could have picked off this villager. Maybe he will. No. I think Food Please is just getting away with all the good trades. But I think this one might eventually get chased down. Yes, so now this villager of Food Please, of Splay Buzzer, is a little bit in peril, but I think he will get back. And now look at this, Food Please ahead by 4 villagers already, looking good for Food Please on the home map. He just needs to fix the trademarked economy, and then he will be golden. But now more Will fighting. There's another weak one in there. So Splay Buzzer just realizes this, but no, he does not. I think Food Please keeps on sending this woman out there. He's like, come on, die already, woman. And Splay Buzzer now putting down the hurt by walling in Food Please. And I think this villager might eventually go down. It's chased by 2 villagers. What a savage guy this Splay Buzzer is. Splay Buzzer also now going up to the next age, picking a villager. So he is a little bit recovering here, and the trap attempt! Insane plays there! At the same time, Food Please still having the micromanagement to probably not lose this villager to the boar. So very nicely done for him. And yeah, Food Please now having a lot more villagers. Maybe it's also due to the fishing ships, especially since this is all idle, so 7 idles there for Splay Buzzer. So I think economy-wise, it's clearly better for Food Please at this point of view. However, you see that Splay Buzzer is up to the next age, and that could swing it all around. So especially if he makes an early fire galley, I think a single fire galley, send it around, and then all that fish is gone, because Food Please has not even clicked up yet, and I think he will realize and panic now. But look at the food count of Food Please. Yeah, indeed, Food Please. There's no food. He has no food, so he cannot even click up. Of course, he will get some income from the boar he just lured, but now the towers are coming in. Look at this, Splay Buzzer being up much earlier. Now has the possibility to place the towers, and also he can try to deny the stone of his opponent, deny this stone over here, and he has safe stone in the back, so he can do a lot of damage there. He just needs to make sure that this tower is not rushed down, that he can walk in from this position. Basically, he has already denied this woodline, which is very nice. Maybe he can walk around and deny more of the economy of Food Please. Because that's exactly what he needs to do. If you look at the villager count, it looks absolutely terrible for Splay Buzzer. But if he can be on the offensive, if he can have the momentum, then it doesn't matter how many villagers you are ahead if you have, if you're in the driver's seat. And this one thing that you notice here already in the early stages of the game is that Splay Buzzer has a lot of space to the left of his base and on the southern side here, whereas Food Please kind of, by this early pressure, you see that he's dropping the wall-offs over here, so he's kind of already confined to a smaller area of the map. And that's something that might be coming in later in the game, but now, this is a little bit risky here. I think this tower will not go up. I think it will get denied, but also it causes a lot of idle time. So I think even though I think this attack from Splay Buzzer will not work out in the end, because I think even the villagers might go down now if he's not careful. Oh my god. But on the other hand, look at all the villagers of Food Please. Look at this. They're all idle. That's so many resources that are just wasted. I mean, Food Please did kill another villager, so that's very good on him. But yeah, the idle time is not looking good there. Meanwhile, finally, Splay Buzzer realizing, okay, yeah, I can retask all these fishing ships and also the villager down there, but unfortunately he has not created a fire galley. But I think it's maybe just a little bit too much to ask. Food Please losing another villager to the town center over here. So it's a messy game, and yeah, constant pressure basically going in. I mean, that's what we expect on Nomad, and also these two players, they also like to put their TCs close to each other. I mean, Food Please could have dropped his, yeah, just here, his town center, and Splay Buzzer could have gone over here, but no, they really like to be close to each other. And in several Nomad games, we really had them within shooting distance, so it's a very typical thing here. Another boar getting lured in here for Splay Buzzer, so very good on him to use the boars also in Feudal Age. So a lot of people, a lot of players, like, they really don't think about this. They just get the boar in and or the hunt in Dark Age, and then in the Feudal Age they're like, okay, now it's time for farms. But if there's so much food out there, there's another goat out there, for instance, then yeah, you don't need to drop farms early. You can just get more food in this other way. Now, what's surprising to me is that Splay Buzzer has not pushed in further. I mean, he has placed this one tower, but for instance, he could creep into the right. I mean, I'm sure if we go to his point of view, his fog of war, he knows, okay, there are some resources there. I mean, okay, granted, he might not know if those resources are being taken, but that's something where he could try to push in further. If we look at what the people see, I mean, scouting usually very important to find your opponent, but here they just found each other. Yeah, it's pretty even. I would say it's pretty even in terms of scouting there. And I think finally Fire Galley is being produced. However, if we look on the other side of the map, also, Fire Galley is being researched, and more importantly, the Castle Age has been clicked for Food Please. And I think that Splay Buzzer just didn't do enough damage there in Feudal Age. He had the tech advantage, but he wasn't able to capitalize on it. And I think that will come back to haunt him, even. Yeah, and Food Please, just having the resources, he is able to go up to the next age, and still he has 3 more villagers than Splay Buzzer, even though he's already almost up to Castle Age. And yet here we have an interesting situation where this villager walled in. I think he wants to attack the tower, but I think that Food Please just forgot at this point. I think Splay Buzzer realizing, okay, maybe I'm behind in tech, and I think he will see that soon, so he is dropping the required buildings. He already has the archery range, he is dropping the blacksmith, and looking at the resources, looks very good. He can click up right now, and yeah, that's exactly what he did. But yeah, now Splay Buzzer is behind the whole research time, so that's very interesting. And I think Splay Buzzer tries to ungarrison here, but I'm not sure if that's possible to ungarrison in this tiny space to attack the villager. So I think the single villager might actually be able... oh no. Okay, I spoke too soon. This villager is not able to batter down the tower, because finally Splay Buzzer shot down the palisade wall, so we'll watch the demise of the villager, and then we have to focus here on the fire galley micro. If you can call it micromanagement, it's just a little bit of fighting and then just retreating. But there's another fire galley looping around, so very nicely done by Food Please. He is able to just pincer the ships of Splay Buzzer in the end, I think, and all of his fishing ships are, yeah, they can still go on and work and are not harassed. And I think if he drops another dock down here, then this will be very good in terms of economy for Food Please. But now look at what's happening. The knights are in and they are hungry. They are out for blood, and I think those two villagers at the berries will just get destroyed by the knights. Yes, this one wants to hop into the tower, but it's not gonna be the case, not gonna help. And I think the knights can take down the tower easily. There is no murder rolls. And out some spearmen, but I think they're in too low number. They're fighting uphill, so this one is already down. But they act as a deterrent for the knights. So I think the knights probably should not focus on the tower. I mean, there are two villages inside, so it might be worth it. But they could also loop around, try to find if there are other villages to pick here on the gold, for instance, maybe on the wood over here. So there's a lot of opportunities there. Meanwhile, the fire galleys are still here. I think the fishing ships are still fine. Yeah, and the fire galleys now prioritize the dock instead of the fishing ship. So not too much happening there, but I mean, clearly players have gotten better at this recently, as they are now able to also go onto water, manage the land aggression, and to really make it work at the same time. And now if you look at the positions, I mean, Food Please has 10 more villagers, he has a sizable score lead, he has the knights, and with those knights he can just roam into the economy of his opponent. And let's see if he, yeah, he did see that the gold mine and that there must be some villagers there, so he can just hit the gold piles there. So I'm loving the situation of Food Please. I mean, it's 10 more villages, and he was earlier to Castle Age. He has the knights in the economy. So from here on out, yeah, it's just he just needs to also focus on keeping his economy going, do not have too many idols, and also produce more, and then I think he's in the driving seat. And also he needs to switch. That's something that we see a lot of the times, that the players get really stubborn. If you see your opponent making so many spearmen, so it's already 7 spearmen, you can assume that there more will be created there. Then maybe it's time to switch into something else. And remember, Food Please has the Mongols, and by this point he has 50 villagers. He could think about dropping a castle and just producing the Mangudai, because in the end you always want to go for Mangudai in the late game with the Mongols, and the Mangudai would be so strong here. I mean, they could just pick up all of these pikemen, they could raid here, and there's nothing that Splay Buzzer could do against Mangudai. Nice walling here, by the way, by Splay Buzzer, but I think the knights will be able to slip through anyways. But I think that also a lot of knights, oh, there was a cat anyways, a lot of knights are also going down for free. Another 2 get picked off here under the town center. Another one was taken down here by the spearmen. So I think that Food Please kind of, yeah, banging his head against the wall. He's also missing crucial upgrades. He now finally has bloodlines and +1. But yeah, he cannot fight the spearman. He just needs to run around and then try to hit his opponent at some point. One good thing for Food Please is that he's able to take down the fishing ships of Splay Buzzer. Even though Splay Buzzer has some fire galleys, but clearly water control is difficult if you're microing on land as well. And yeah, here the problem is, yeah, another knight will get picked off, and that's a win for Splay Buzzer. If you just pick off knights for free, it's always a win with just spearmen. I mean, he didn't even research pikemen. He's just pumping out the spearmen, and I think that's a wise move. I mean, they kind of suck against the knights and everything basically, but if your opponent just trickles in 1 knight at a time, I mean, now he's saving up 4 at least. Yeah, that's not too much of a threat, to be honest, because you can just position a couple of spearmen everywhere, and yes, one-on-one they will definitely lose against the knight, but doesn't matter. I mean, in the end, it's just such a such a good trade because they're so cheap, they don't cost gold. And now look at the surround of the knights by the spearmen. What a terrible engagement there for Pooply. What is happening? What is he doing? I mean, now he needs to fight with the villagers because they actually are pretty good against the spearmen. So I think Splay Buzzer really should think about maybe some upgrades there, going to pikemen. If you already have so many spearmen, just click the pikeman upgrade, get a little bit of attack, because then you can actually fight the villagers. Because with free attack, you cannot really fight villagers, to be honest. Even though he is annoying anyways. And look at this, raids with spearmen. You should never allow this. And that's this problem of, okay, let's produce more knights. And yeah. Look at this, the villagers have to be pulled, the villagers have to fight, he has to do that. Now the plumes are in, plumed archers to complement the spearmen, and now suddenly, from a laughable army of just a couple of spearmen like the AI would do, we now have a strong army composition of spearmen and plumed archers, which can actually just go in and raid, because there's nothing that Food Police can do at this point. And if we look at the villager numbers, well, still Food Police 15 ahead. But I think there's, Splay Buzzer can take the momentum here. Just go into the economy here. He also dropped the castle here in a very good position at the front. He's protecting this entrance. He's threatening the town center here. I think if he researches Botkin arrow, he will be able to reach it even. And now all of these villagers are in peril. Finally, the pikeman upgrade is in, which makes them more stronger. They have more HP, they have more attack, so now they can actually fight the villagers. We have the plumes in, and the villagers just have to go away. There's nothing that Food Police can do. Of course, still a lot of upgrades are missing. This is a weak army, but it's threatening so much, and at the same time, Food Police not doing much. And by the way, the whole left side is basically still empty, and we see this boxing in effect. Now Food Police has been ousted from this area. Meanwhile, Splay Buzzer actually attacking with all his fire galleys the fishing ships, and will get revenge, I guess, for losing his own fishing ships. So that's what we typically see on water these days. It's just back and forth. One person has the upper hand, kills fishing ships, and then the other person comes back. Splay Buzzer also researching the galley upgrade, which also upgrades your fires. So very nicely done. Picks off another villager. And now suddenly it's getting more even. With the Botkin arrow research, also the castle is able to reach the town center, picks off another villager there, and now it's only 7 villagers more for Food Police. So this game is really turning around, kind of. And that's, I think, again, unit choice and decision making here. I mean, if your opponent makes so many pikemen or spearmen, then just go for something else. I mean, your Mongols, oh, be careful with this one. Just losing the Mangudai for free. Just make something else. Just make a couple of archers. Just make crossbows. The crossbows is basically with any civilization, it's never a bad choice in Castle Age to just make a couple of crossbows. Doesn't need to be too many. Crossbow upgrade is cheap. Crossbows are cheap. Just make 5 crossbows, and that's enough for you to defend from just a couple of spearmen, because that's actually, look at this army. It's like 2 blue archers, 1 archer, and a pikeman. 5 crossbows is enough to deal with that. But yeah, the initial town center of Food Police getting destroyed, and I think now Food Police has a problem. He has the problem that he's boxed into this tiny area. He cannot really go here. He cannot really expand anywhere. I think smart move, well, at this point he needs to regain water control first, which he's trying to do. Now it all comes down to micromanagement and how much HP is left on these fire ships, but I think Food Police will gain water control back. So actually what he could do is just transport a couple of villages and drop a couple of town centers, to be honest. It might sound like a stupid move, but you need space to breathe. He doesn't even have farms. Luckily he has some berry bushes, he can take a little bit of shorefish there, has some ostriches, but still no farms in late Castle Age. Meanwhile, Splay Buzzer being on 2 town centers, now dropping the 3rd town center out here, getting all that space, all that extra resources, another boar, another woodland, another gold. so he can really turn this around. And look at this, Splay Buzzer, due to this extra town centers, now ahead in villages, 66 to 60 villages, and this is how you can swing a game, and this is how decision making can lead to big advantage for one player. So let's see how this plays out. Fupi still, I mean, he's still firmly in this game. The score is rather even, and so if he can kill a couple fishing ships down here, make something happen, then yeah, he could even try to transport around and do a little bit of raiding over here, to be honest. But then he can really also come back, or not even come back. I mean, it's still pretty even, but then he can make something happen in this game. However, look at the castle position of Splay Buzzer. It's beautiful. It's on the hill. It denies all of this space. So Food Beast basically cannot expand here anymore. There's nothing he can do. He has to basically go into this far area over here. The castle also prevents any access through this choke point. The only entrance really for Fupi is down here, and that's maybe what he should do, is make a few mango dye and just run through and maybe hit the gold, run through the back and do some raiding. I think that's absolutely necessary if your opponent is making more villages than you. Now both players are actually clicking up to the Imperial Age, which is understandable. I mean, they want to trap down their opponent's castle. And so you need to go to Imperial Age for that, obviously, because the castles are very important for both the civilizations and even more so for the Mongols, because the Mangudai, which is arguably the best unit in the game, and here we have a message: in 10 minutes the servers will be taken offline. Okay, that's interesting. I have never seen that before. Hopefully we can finish casting this game and then I can finally upgrade my Age of Empires version. Yeah, but what I was saying is that the castles are very important for the Mongols, because the best unit in the game, the Mangudai, can only be created from there. And for the Mayans, plumed archers used to be the one thing they go for. Nowadays maybe not as much, but still very important to have these castles to make the plumes. And as you can see, there's a couple of plumes in the queue for Splay Buzzer. So 6 plumes in the queue, actually, very interesting. Now Fupi, being the first one up to the next age, he will be able to have a little bit of momentum here. If he makes a trap, he can just trap down this castle. And I don't think that Splay Buzzer can react to this. But the number of plumes that he creates is actually getting quite scary. So if you reach this critical mass and you also have some pikemen, then it's going to be very difficult. And I think plumes can be quite effective, and especially cost effective against the Mangudai. So usually for many civilizations they basically have nothing against the Mangudai, but I think archers is the way to go here, and Mayans obviously have very good archers. Still, this top area is occupied by Splay Buzzer and basically denied for Fupi. Now finally, Mangudai are coming in, but they need so many upgrades to be effective. I mean, already he has a couple, he has Bloodlines at least, he has Bracer, but he still needs a lot more upgrades and also Elite for them to be very effective, and probably doesn't even have Thumbring at this point. But now Fupi's having a little bit of momentum. He has the traps out. The traps are affecting the castle, and I think the castle will just go down, and I think Splay Buzzer will accept this. He will just create a couple of trebuchets and a couple of plumes, so getting the important things in. Maybe he could think about getting conscription, although he does have a second castle down here, so basically he can sacrifice his castle. It's not so important at this point anymore. I mean, it does project a lot of power forward, but I think it's much better to instead go on the offensive here, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's now threatening the castle of Fupi, and again, Fupi really doesn't have any way of responding here, because he's pretty spread thin. I mean, 10 more villages now for Splay Buzzer. Did miss a little bit of water action there. Fupi now basically completely ousting Splay Buzzer from the water, and is also able to hit the economy of Splay Buzzer. And I think if Fupi notices this, he could get 2 more galleys in to make this a little bit more effective. But I think he is occupied with this attack on the front. This castle, I think, will get destroyed. nice pickup there for Fuplis, getting the trebuchet off Splay Buzzer. But yes, Splay Buzzer having now the better economy. And population still overall pretty even, but now Splay Buzzer does have the castle, he has the trebuchets out, and he has the plumed archers. Still also missing some upgrades, missing chemistry, probably thumbring, missing the armor upgrade, but he's getting now the final armor upgrade, so very good on him. But yeah, I think the Mangudai without all the upgrades, that's not a good trade. To be honest, so trading Mangudai for plumes is not ideal, especially since Fuplis is missing the armor upgrade and Parthian tactics. So yeah, and now also Splay Buzzer mixing in some crossbowmen. It's a wise choice because you only have one castle and you want to produce more. So why not make crossbowmen from the archery range? Also now getting the arbalest upgrade. And I think Fuplis now maybe able to push in, but the light cav, which is a very good choice because they also get more HP for the Mongols. But the light cav has the problem that still upgrades are missing. So really defense upgrades I think are key here and is what's going to be the deciding factor here. I'm not sure if Fuplis really needs to take this. I would fall a little back because he really doesn't need to take this. He can just mass his numbers, but like this he will just lose these Mangudai numbers, which are so important. Yes, he can maybe kill 1 or 2 traps, which he is able to do because of the attack bonus there, but I'm not sure if this was worth it. Also losing a trap of his own, and remember those traps are not even attacking the castle. They're just attacking the other trap. And now suddenly Mangudai are gone without the armor upgrades. Yeah, the light cav just not going to do anything. Usually you would say, well, good counter the light cav and hussars, but here they only have 3 pierce armor. Now we have arbalest, soon to be fully upgraded. Only missing chemistry at this point. Yeah, I think Splay Buzzer has this in the bag. He has the momentum. He has the economy lead, although it's very slight at this point, honestly. That's probably due to this massive lapse in concentration, and also he has a lot more idols. So maybe Fuplis is having more of an economy. But look at this! Look at how boxed in he is. He has no space to expand. He didn't even expand to his old area over here anymore. And I think that's just GG. He has no army, he has no space, and there's a whole bunch of archers, and there he calls it. Fuplis calls the GG, and Splay Buzzer goes ahead 2-1 against Fuplis in the grand finals of the Coronation Cup. And I think it all came down, as I said, to those factors. Fuplis had a big advantage. He had more villagers and was very fast to castle age. In the end, he won completely in water, but yeah, what killed him was decision making. So just spamming the knights one by one into the spearmen wasn't a good choice. And then he didn't get any breathing room. He just stayed confined in this area. Also didn't get this area back. He also, I think now there are walls over here by Splay Buzzer, but there was plenty of opportunity to just break out here and maybe go into this northern corner. And yeah, and that's basically what lost him the game. And Splay Buzzer did the right thing. He also added TCs, has 3 TCs to equalize the villager difference, and then also made the smart choice, first going for the pikes and some archers, and now going for the arbalests and the plumed archers. And in the end, he didn't even have ballistics, but it doesn't matter. If you're fighting head on, then ballistics is not so important. It's more about if you chase down or raid, then it's more important. Also getting chemistry, very nicely done. I think some last minute desperation transport ships were in the making there, but it's all too little too late. And we can quickly check the achievements there. So I think, yeah, in unit killed and lost, it's now very even, but it was a big advantage there for Fuplis before that. Very even game. If you look at the resources, it's pretty even. I mean, Splay Buzzer has a little bit of more gold, but Fuplis has more food. So honestly, pretty even. Splay Buzzer in the end having more villagers due to the 3 town centers. And if you look at the timeline, look at this. Splay Buzzer was really down here and then was able to come back with the earlier few late in the tower. But still, he was a little bit down throughout the whole game, and then also early castle age there for Food Please, but he didn't make much happen with this. And then from there was a slow decline of Food Please's position, and in the end he had nothing there anymore. I mean, it does look pretty even still, but if you look at the situation on the map, there's a whole bunch of archers and just no space left anymore for Food Please, so it was GG. What a game in this series, and what a series this shapes up to be. So both players bringing their A game. Also, Splay Buzzer now taking this very serious. And okay, we get some maintenance, even though I'm not even online. So that's very interesting. So I probably have to close this up now and wrap everything up. And hope to see you in the next game.